Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for All West Virginia Students, sponsored by West Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at WVACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and it will be available within about a week at the same website, which is WVACRAO.org. I'd now like to turn it over to our presenters, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. My name is Amanda Harris, and I am an admissions counselor here at West Virginia Wesleyan. And I am actually so excited to be talking to you tonight about all things Wesleyan. Some of the topics that I'm going to discuss with you, is just going to be where we're located, what we offer in terms of academics, class sizes, residence halls, and ways to get involved on campus. But before I get started, I just want to remind you that there is a Q&A section down below. So please feel free to type in any questions that you have for us. We will leave a little bit of time at the end to address those questions. So if by some chance we were to miss your question and the session wrapped up before we got to it, we will reach out to you afterwards. But without further ado, let's jump into this. All right. So life isn't about doing just one thing. So at West Virginia Wesleyan, we encourage you to explore all of your interests and pursue the activities that appeal to you instead of forcing you into a one-size-fits-all education path. But before we get into all of these topics, let me just tell you a little bit about the location of where Wesleyan is located. So Wesleyan is located in Buchanan, West Virginia, or as we like to call it, your home among the hills, with a population of 5,600. Buchanan is a very quaint and residential college town and was actually rated America's coolest small town, top 15 and top 50 best small downtown. In addition to a lot of mom and pop style restaurants and local shopping, there's also plenty of outdoor recreation opportunities. So there's a lot to do outside of the campus. So you're not just stuck on campus, but there's several things to get involved of outside of the campus. Also, something to keep in mind is that Buchanan is located in one of West Virginia's safest counties. So it's a very safe area. Also, something to mention, where Wesleyan is located, it's actually kind of convenient. We're about 90 minutes north of Charleston, West Virginia, about 2 hours south of Pittsburgh, PA, and about 4 hours west of Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, Maryland. So we're pretty close to everything, not too far away. So what does success mean to you? Rated best school in the Southeast by the Princeton Review and best value for Southern regional universities by the U.S. News and World Report, amongst many other recognitions, West Virginia Wesleyan has successfully had a 91% employment/grad school rate on average over the last 3 years. So basically what that means is that within a year, our students have went on to grad school or to a career of their choosing. And as you can see over here on the screen, we have listed some of the places that our graduates have went on to work. So we have a few that have went on to work at the FBI, a few that have went to work at Disney, as well as local hospitals. So there's lots of opportunities for you, and our number, it actually stays in the 90s, so that number stays pretty high for us. Also, as for the campus itself, West Virginia Wesleyan, I'm sorry, is on a 90+ acres, and it is actually one of the few campuses in the state that is completely flat. So that means no climbing hills in the wintertime. You don't have to worry about struggling to get to class when it snows, because as you know, it does snow, unfortunately, in West Virginia. So just the way I like to describe Wesleyan and where it's located is to just think of like a big square. So it's located on this big square piece of property. All the buildings are conveniently located right in the center of the campus. So everything's easy to access. You have your dorms on one side, and then you have basically your classes on the other side. And then around the parameters are, of course, parking, and then we have our athletic fields. So that's just something to keep in mind whenever you're trying to visualize the campus. Another interesting thing to mention about Wesleyan is that the classrooms and residential halls are regularly renovated. In fact, West Virginia Wesleyan was one of only 2 colleges in the country to receive a $10 million grant, which was used to help aid with campus renovations and our Campus Student Success Center. And you're probably thinking, what is a Student Success Center? Well, the Student Success Center actually helps with advising for our first-generation students, at-risk students, and it also provides career services. So career services in the sense of helping with career planning, resume building, some interview skills, connecting you with alumni that are maybe working in the field that you're interested in, and of course, internship placement. So anytime you see Wesleyan getting a large sum of money, you always see that going back into the campus. And actually, we have a new performing arts center. We also have Dunn Hall, which is one of our premium dorms, which I'll talk about in a minute. But it is one of our most recent premium dorms. So again, you always see that going back into the campus every time there's money. Classrooms have also been renovated, and they're still working on new renovations for them. So you'll see a lot of projector screens, new desks, and a lot of new equipment in those rooms. And actually, one of our most recent renovations was our library. So the library was completely redesigned with the students in mind. So it has 24/7 access, consolidation of several academic services. So in the library, you'll find our writing center. You'll find several other options for you to go and use the library for more than just studying purposes. They also increased the number of small group study spaces, as well as they've added an ADA compliant rear entrance, which means you'd be using your student ID to get in there. You wouldn't be able to get in without that. So it's very safe and secure in there. And then there is also a self-serve micro market with a cafe style seating. So they've also implemented the upstairs is for studying. It's a quiet zone. So if you like to study in peace and quiet, then you would definitely love the upstairs. All right, so let's talk about in the classroom. Hopefully I don't stumble over my words this time. So our current enrollment is 1,050. Average class size is about 19. And a lot of times you're going to see those larger class sizes in your like gen ed classes. So like your math and your science, you're going to see more students. Typically, whenever you kind of get into your major, your class is much smaller. And you kind of get to know your professors and your peers on a personal basis. I know you're hearing that probably a lot from schools, but I promise that is a big thing at Wesleyan. All of our classes are also taught by professors, and we are 24% diverse, which includes 6% international students. And we do have students from 35 different states and 21 different countries. And as you can see, we do have a 55% female and 45% male. So our females kind of dominate the campus a little bit, but trust me, you can't tell on campus. And then something else that I forgot to mention is that we do have a student to faculty ratio of 13:1. All right, so now let's get into the fun stuff. So there's no limit to how far you can go. West Virginia Wesleyan offers over 40 different majors and minors. We are a private liberal arts college, so we do require 120 credits to graduate, but no worries. We have academic advisors that work with you to make sure that you're on track and that you're taking the credit hours you need to take. And actually, something else cool to mention is that you don't have to declare a major right away. You can actually go your entire freshman year without declaring a major. We actually don't require a major until your sophomore year. So it's kind of nice. You don't have that extra pressure to declare a major right away. But if you're one of the lucky ones and you already know what you want to major in before you even start your freshman year, of course, feel free to declare that. But again, there's no pressure. It's completely up to you and your learning style. Now, as far as like scheduling and how classes look, you will see that 1/3 of our classes are dedicated to general studies. And then 1/3 is dedicated to your major. And then we have another third that is dedicated to your electives as well as your second major or minor. Or maybe you want a double major and double minor. Honestly, I always say the sky's the limit with this. If you want a double major, you absolutely can. If you want to double minor, you absolutely can. If you just want to focus on just your major without a minor, that's perfectly fine too. Again, it's completely up to you and the sky's the limit on that. Also, we offer several master's degrees. So we have a Master of Business Administration, a Master's of Fine Arts and Creative Writing, a Master of Science in Athletic Training, and a Master of Science in Nursing, as well as we do offer now a doctorate program. So that would be a Doctor of Nursing Practice. So maybe nursing is something that you're interested in. Honestly, you could take your nursing career as far as you want. If you want to become a nurse practitioner, this program might be perfect for you. So again, as I've already said, the sky's the limit with that. And actually, most recently, Wesleyan has partnered with West Virginia School of Osteopathic Medicine to now offer direct admission to their medical program for qualified students. So maybe you're wanting to be a doctor, that program might be for you. So a lot of exciting things happening with our majors, minors, and pre-professional degrees. And in addition to our various majors and minors, West Virginia Wesleyan provides opportunities for students to study abroad by allowing an alternative spring break or May term, a summer abroad, or a semester abroad. Some locations that our students have traveled during their study abroad experience include Austria, Bahamas, Brazil, Costa Rica, England, France, Germany, and so many as you can see from our screen. So if that's something you're interested in, that is definitely something we could make happen for you. And hopefully by the time everybody's back on campus in 2021, let's be optimistic and say COVID won't be a thing, and we'll be able to travel again and study abroad. So definitely something to keep in mind if you're considering Wesleyan and would like that chance. All right, so some of you may or may not know that Wesleyan also offers a nationally ranked learning center. The Learning Center offers a wide array of services for our students with diagnosed learning disabilities. Services include walk-in tutoring, study and lab testing options, and extensive services if needed. Most of these services are provided free to our students, but some of the more extensive programs, like you can see on the screen there, do require a small fee. But again, the Learning Center is honestly something that most of our students can access and benefit from. All right, and something else to mention is that Wesleyan is partnered with Dell. So let's say you were to choose West Virginia Wesleyan and you're like, I need a laptop. You can actually purchase one through Dell and you would receive a discount through us. And we also have a partnership with Microsoft Office 365. So you will have access to that as well as a student. All right, let's get to the fun stuff. So residence halls. We do offer standard and premium housing. Our standard housing is more of that traditional dorm feel. So you would have a roommate. So if you're female, you're going to have a female roommate. If you're male, you're going to have a male roommate. And just think of the classic dorm that you've probably seen on TV or you've seen in a college if you have, if you've already been touring. That's kind of going to be the feel of the standard dorm. You would be sharing a restroom / shower with that entire floor. And with standard housing, we offer both co-ed as well as all male and all female dorms. So let's say by some chance you're in a co-ed standard dorm, your floor would be shared with all females. And the way the restroom and shower works is like there's stalls, there's curtains, so you still get privacy with that. And honestly, standard housing is one of our more popular options, but of course, like I said, we do have premium as well. So with premium housing, that's set up more like a suite style. So you would have a suite mate, and then you would share a bathroom / shower with another set of suite mates. So just think of like 4 people in a room that is separated by a restroom / shower. So you would have that hallway that would connect that. That is our more expensive option, but it does give you that that privacy of where you're not sharing a restroom and a shower with an entire floor, you're just sharing with your suite mates. Premium housing is all co-ed. So the way that works is your suite could be all females, for instance, and the next suite over could be all males. But we do place importance on safety, and we do have our campus heavily monitored. So the campus itself is relatively safe as far as like residence halls go. It seems like everybody pretty much enjoys their experience, whether they choose premium or standard, they seem to enjoy whichever they chose. I will say that freshmen do have to live on campus their first year, but after your first year, if you would like to live off campus, you absolutely could. Freshmen are allowed to have their car on campus. So if you drive and you have a vehicle and you want to have your vehicle on campus your first year, you absolutely can. So that's kind of the way that we make it a little bit better that you're, I don't know, so to speak, I guess, stuck on campus. But honestly, the majority of our students actually prefer to live on campus all 4 years. I mean, once you're on campus, you're going to make friends, and truly, you're probably just going to want to stay with your friends for those 4 years. All right, so I'm going to briefly touch on some of the ways that our students get involved on campus and how they basically stay occupied during their free time. And then I'm going to let my coworker, Scott Stokel, take over and tell you all a little bit more about that in depth. So we do offer community service opportunities. So if you wanted to get involved in some sort of community service, which of course, as we know, does look good on a resume, there's opportunities for that, especially in our community. If there's something that you're majoring in and you would like to volunteer in something that pertains to your major, we can make that happen. We do have students that participate in athletics, and we do have a wide variety of athletics to choose from. So if there's something you're interested in, we could probably put you in touch with the appropriate coach. We do have student organizations. In fact, we actually have more than 70 different student organizations on campus. So there's a lot of ways for you to get involved with that and kind of find your thing. Creative arts is a large part of who we are as well. So if that's something you would like to be involved in, you absolutely can. If that's not your thing, that's okay too. We do offer Greek life as well as religious life. So now I'm going to turn it over to my coworker and let him tell you more about these programs.
Hey guys, I'm Scott Stokel. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions at West Virginia Wesleyan College. I'm happy to have a chance to talk with you guys tonight. Over the next several slides, like Amanda said, I'm going to talk to you about some of the specifics as far as different co-curricular opportunities that we provide to our students. I'm going to talk to you guys about the application process, scholarships, how you can go about visiting campus, some important dates to consider, and then ultimately also how you can contact our admissions office. So as Amanda mentioned, we do offer a lot of different service programs. Our CCE, which is our Center for Community Engagement, is a great place to start with that. That's headed by Jessica Vincent. She does a great job working with our service scholars at Wesleyan. Service scholars generally complete between 60 and 70 hours of community service throughout the year. They do complete the majority of that time either on campus or around the Buchanan community, but they are able to complete some of that time if they go home and are involved in service projects at home, whether it be on a weekend or over a Christmas break or a spring break, something like that as well. But for the most part, they're going to complete their service time on campus or in the Buchanan community. But all of our service scholars do a great job for us. And even if a student's not a service scholar, that doesn't mean they can't get involved in different community engagement, community service projects that we offer. Jessica does a great job of always providing information on upcoming community engagement opportunities for our students. She's always constantly emailing students, as well as posting information on various bulletin boards around campus about upcoming community engagement opportunities. Our athletes are definitely very active on campus, as well as our Greek life programs. You can see a list here of some of the different programs that we offer and some of the different groups that we work with. So we definitely encourage students to get involved in the community within our service organizations if they're interested. If you're interested in being a student athlete at Wesleyan, we compete in the Division II level. We are able to offer athletic scholarships. You can see a list here of all the different athletic teams we offer for both our men's and women's student athletes. Student athletes have always been very successful at Wesleyan, both on the playing field as well as in the classroom. The average GPA of our student athletes at Wesleyan is a 3.28. That starts with our coaches understanding that your education comes first. They expect their student athletes to be going to class, to be getting their work turned in on time. And our coaches always do a good job checking progress reports and absence lists. Again, just making sure their students are doing what they're supposed to be doing. We do actually have mandatory study hall required for our freshman athletes. That's setting aside the necessary time to get their assignments completed, to study for tests, and ultimately just making sure they're adjusting well to college life. But our coaches help run that program. Our professors are also really good at working with student athletes. They understand from time to time a student athlete might have to be away from class. If they are going to be away for a game, our registrar's office always does a really good job sending email notifications to professors saying, please excuse this athletic team, they're going to be away. It's of course always a good idea to just give your professor a heads up, say, hey, remember, I'm going to be out next week. I know we had this test that day or this assignment that day. Is that something I need to take care of early? Sometimes it might be something that they want you to take care of early. Sometimes they might say, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it whenever you get back. The big thing is just to communicate with your professor. As long as you're working with your professor, they're going to work with you. There's always something going on campus, always something to do to have some fun. Bobcat Entertainment hosts all sorts of different planned weekend as well as evening activities for our students. We've had different concerts and musicians come to campus. We've hosted different comedians at Wesleyan. We commonly host different movie nights on the quad, both in our fall and spring semester, weather permitting, of course. We've had different cultural events. We have Wesleyan Idol as well as Wesleyan's Got Talent, very similar to American Idol and America's Got Talent, just with a Wesleyan spin on it. We host Price is Right, and we also play Big Bingo, which is one of the more popular activities that our students like to take part in. They generally play Big Bingo in the cafeteria. The whole cafeteria will fill up. You play bingo and you have a chance to win a lot of great prizes, but you definitely see a lot of the campus community at Big Bingo for sure. West Virginia as a whole is definitely known for outdoor recreational activities. Wesleyan tries to provide opportunities for our students to take trips to go on, take part in different outdoor recreation programs. We provide those trips at a reduced cost to our students. We've taken students whitewater rafting. We've done some different ski trips, camping, caving, zip lining, and most recently, we even added some skydiving to our outdoor recreation activities program. So we definitely recommend students get involved off campus, find something fun to do in your free time, whether it be on a weeknight or on a weekend. If you're a student who's interested in the creative and performing arts, we host a wide variety of programs within the arts. We have a choir program. We have different creative writing classes. We have dance, graphic design classes. We actually just recently started a gospel choir. Again, literature classes. We just started the marching band a few years ago. They've grown in great numbers over the past several years. We're excited to have David Blon on as our new band director. He's done a great job working with all our students and working with our admissions staff as well. We offer different music programs and music classes, musical theater, technical theater, theater, as well as visual arts. So there's all sorts of different programs to get involved in. We actually offer scholarships for the creative and performing arts as well. Students are able to audition to receive a creative arts scholarship. So they'll be able to audition. Their audition is then reviewed by our creative and performing arts faculty, and they're able to determine if we're able to offer a scholarship. I actually work to coordinate creative and performing arts auditions. So if you're interested in auditioning at Wesleyan, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to get you signed up for an audition. We're currently welcoming both video auditions that can be emailed to us and reviewed by our faculty. And we're also welcoming on-campus auditions if a student has to be on campus visiting. But if you guys have any questions when it comes to creative and performing arts, I'm definitely happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm also happy to connect you with our creative and performing arts faculty. We offer Greek life at Wesleyan as well. In Greek life, we offer 5 nationally recognized fraternities and 4 nationally recognized sororities. All of our Greek life programs are involved with a different philanthropy, so they work to raise money and awareness for their philanthropy. All of our Greek life students are very active members, both on campus as well as throughout the Buchanan community. They generally complete several different service projects on campus and throughout the community. They also take part in a lot of different fun activities, competing against one another on campus as well. All of our fraternities and sororities compete in various athletic events throughout the year. And one of the neat events they do in the spring is called Spring Sing. They have a theme each year of the songs they sing. They sing a handful of songs. They do that in the chapel, but the whole campus community comes together and is able to watch that and take part in that Spring Sing week. And it's definitely a fun time to be on campus in the spring for sure. Wesleyan is affiliated with the United Methodist Church. It doesn't matter at all what a student's religious denomination is. We don't require any kind of religious denomination or anything like that. Students are going to complete at least one religion course at some point as part of their curriculum. It can be any religion course of their choosing, and they can take it at any point throughout their 4 years at Wesleyan. You can see several of the different organizations that we do offer on campus. We do offer some weekly chapel services. We have a Tuesday worship, some different services throughout the week. We don't provide an actual service on Sundays because we want students on Sundays to be able to actually get involved and become and join a church in the community if they choose to. We've also provided different mission work, and our students may be able to complete mission work in the form of alternative spring breaks. So again, we definitely don't require students to get involved in religion if they don't want to, but we definitely do offer the possibility for students to further their spiritual and religious life if they choose to. Caitlin Ware is our spiritual life coordinator. She's always great at reaching out to students, answering any questions they may have, and also emailing students, letting them know of upcoming spiritual and religious life opportunities for students to get involved in if they choose to. Next thing I want to talk to you guys about, this is especially important for the seniors, if you have not already, is the application process. So if you guys haven't applied, one of your next big steps is going to be actually submitting an application to Wesleyan. If you're interested, you can go to our college website there, that wvwc.edu. You'll have the option to apply for free online. There's never any kind of an application fee at Wesleyan. We offer both our personal application as well as the common application. Doesn't matter at all to us which one you choose. Biggest thing is that you apply. Once you apply, the only other thing we need to complete your application, be able to review your file to accept you to Wesleyan, is your high school transcripts. We've always been more concerned with transcripts. We definitely feel that GPA is a better indicator of how successful a student's going to be at Wesleyan than an ACT test or an SAT test. We actually moved to a test optional format this year. Even going back to last year, our academic scholarships were solely based on GPA, again, because we definitely feel that's a better indicator of how successful that you're going to be here at Wesleyan. But we took that a step further this year in adopting that test optional format. So essentially what that means is the only thing you need to complete your application are your transcripts. So you can send us your unofficial transcripts just through your first 3 years, through your junior year is fine. If you have those yourself, you can mail them to us, you can email them to us, you can text your admissions counselor a screenshot, you can send your transcripts through parchment. You can also work with your high school counselor to have them send your high school transcripts to us for you. We don't need official transcripts until you've graduated. At that point, we will need the final official transcripts. But for the purposes of accepting you, we only need the application and the transcripts. We do still recommend that you send ACT scores and SAT scores if you have them. But again, they're definitely not required. We have adopted that test optional format for this year. We also still do recommend essays, personal statements, and letters of recommendation. The big thing is don't let any of those things be something that holds you up from applying. The big thing is that you submit your application, submit your transcripts. We can start the acceptance process. You can always pass on test scores, essays, and letters of recommendation at a later time. We'll definitely be happy to add them to your file and take them into account. This slide here just kind of shows you a review of our application process. So again, the big thing we're going to look at when reviewing applications and determining academic scholarships, again, is going to be your transcripts and your cumulative GPA, but we're still going to take a look at any kind of extracurricular activities that you've been involved in, any kind of test scores you may have, essays, letters of recommendation. We're definitely going to take all of that into account. Every application is going to have a personal touch when it's reviewed. Each application is going to be reviewed individually by your admissions counselor. So that's kind of their first chance they get to know you if you haven't already visited campus, is through your application. So when you are applying, definitely make sure you include anything that you might want us to know, any activities that you're involved in, anything like that that you feel should be a part of your application, definitely make sure you include it. But whenever our admissions counselors review it, once they have a chance to review your file, you will receive some personal feedback from us. We do operate on a rolling admissions basis. So basically, we're accepting students weekly. We started accepting students back in September. As soon as a file is ready, it's going to be marked ready for decision. It's going to go to your admissions counselor. Your admissions counselor will be able to work through your file. And as soon as they have, again, your application and your transcripts, you're ready to be reviewed. Once we have that, we're able to start getting you reviewed. And usually as soon as we have those things, we're able to get you accepted, or at least have a decision for you within 1 to 2 weeks. We send out accept letters on Fridays. We mail them out. So generally, as long as we have your application, your transcripts and everything to where we can review it and make a decision by Wednesday, that's going to give us time to process everything to get it mailed out to you on Friday. If we happen to get everything later in the week, sometimes it might not go out until the following Friday, but generally it's going to be 1 to 2 weeks we're able to have a decision for you. We do recommend that you apply by January 1st. We obviously have students apply after that deadline. And we've obviously had several students who have already started applying to Wesleyan and have already been accepted to Wesleyan. We just do kind of recommend that you do apply by January 1st. We also recommend that students deposit by May 1st. That's just kind of nationally recognized as a college decision day. Again, we're going to have students decide to attend Wesleyan both before and after that day. But again, May 1st is recognized as that National College Decision Day. This page, you can see a breakdown of our total direct costs. This shows tuition, room, board, and fees, all costs for our current year. Wesleyan is actually 15% below the average for a four-year private college. And we're definitely very competitive when it comes to offering scholarships and financial aid. We're going to do everything we can to work with you to make sure we can make Wesleyan as affordable as possible. You can see here a breakdown of all of the different academic scholarships that we offer. Academic scholarships, again, are solely based on GPA. Starting with a 2.75 GPA, we're able to award students the $13,000 merit scholarship. A 3.3 cumulative GPA qualifies students for our $15,000 Dean Scholarship. And a 3.75 cumulative GPA qualifies students for our top academic scholarship, which is the Presidential Scholarship valued at $17,000 a year. In addition to academic scholarships, the next scholarship we can look at for you guys being West Virginia residents is the West Virginia Promise Scholarship. That's an additional $4,750 that would stack right on top of your academic scholarship. The Promise Scholarship is given by the state of West Virginia. So the state has outlined some different guidelines and requirements for the Promise Scholarship. The first requirement is a 3.0 cumulative GPA. And then in addition to that, you also need a 22 composite score on your ACT with a 20 in each of the subcategories, and an 1100 on the SAT with a 530 in reading and a 520 in math. I know those two don't add up to 1100. That's just the two minimum scores they want you at for each of those two categories. So again, for the purpose of acceptance, just for our admissions office, we don't require the test scores, but if you're looking to qualify for the Promise Scholarship, obviously you will need to take either the ACT or the SAT. You can take those tests as many times as you need to, but it is important to remember that the state does require that to be a one-time test. So we are not able to super score, unfortunately, for the purposes of awarding the Promise Scholarship. Next thing we can look to add on to your financial aid package are co-curricular scholarships. So we offer athletic scholarships, which would be at the discretion of the coach. Again, your students are able to audition for creative and performing arts scholarships. That will be reviewed by our creative and performing arts faculty, and they'll be able to award scholarships in that capacity. And then the last thing we can look at, students can apply for the service scholarship. You would apply with Jessica Vincent and our Center for Community Engagement. They're able to review your essay, the different service projects that you've taken part in throughout high school, and they generally finish with an interview as well for students to be awarded that service scholarship. One other important thing to point out when it comes to co-curricular scholarships, those scholarships cannot be combined. So students are definitely welcome and encouraged to participate in as many different co-curricular programs as they choose to, but we can't actually offer scholarships for more than one, but we will make sure that we offer you whichever scholarship is going to provide you with the most financial aid. Last few scholarships we can look at are generally what you're going to be able to receive through filing your FAFSA. So students can qualify for these different grants through that FAFSA process on top of the academic scholarships. So West Virginia residents are able to be offered the Mason Crickard Scholarship. Northern West Virginia students can qualify for the Sarah Blake Scholarship. Another one that students can qualify for through the FAFSA is the Culpeper History Scholarship. We offer legacy awards to students whose parents attended Wesleyan. And we also offer United Methodist Awards to our United Methodist students. They have some opportunities for scholarships as well. This slide here just kind of gives you a review of the whole admissions process. Again, we do recommend that students apply by January 1st, and we definitely encourage you to start applying now if you haven't already. We have hit the October 1st deadline where you're allowed to file the FAFSA. So you can see our code on here. It's free to fill out if you go to the FAFSA website. They're just looking for prior year income tax reports. And essentially it just tells us once we receive that FAFSA, how much additional grants we can stack on top of your academic scholarship. Definitely try to get that FAFSA to us whenever you can. As soon as we have your FAFSA, once we hit November, we'll be able to start processing unofficial financial aid packages for our accepted students. We do recommend that students apply for and audition for any scholarships that they're interested in by March 1st. And then once we hit March 1st, we're actually able to start processing official financial aid packages. At that point, generally, we have a pretty good idea of obviously the academic scholarship you've been awarded, if you're going to qualify for the Promise Scholarship, if you're going to be offered a co-curricular scholarship, and the various grants you'll qualify for through your FAFSA. Obviously, we can still add scholarships on if you happen to be awarded a scholarship after March 1st. We'll just process a new official financial aid package whenever a scholarship is added and send you that new financial aid package. If you haven't been to campus yet, I definitely recommend trying to find a day to visit campus. The campus has always been one of my favorite parts about Wesleyan. It's definitely a beautiful campus. I believe it's second to none, but definitely has a college feel to it, has a very friendly atmosphere as well. And as Amanda pointed out, it's one of the only flat campuses in West Virginia, which was another thing that was always appealing to me about Wesleyan. We have been fortunate enough to be able to start accepting college visitors, campus visitors again. Going back to June, we were allowed one family a day. And for the past month or so, we've been able to actually accept 2 families a day. You can see we're offering campus visits Monday through Friday. We have a tour that goes out at 11 a.m. and then we have an afternoon tour that goes out at 1 p.m. We have implemented several safety protocols just to make sure that campus visits and tours are going to be as safe as possible. Again, we're only allowing 1 family at a time. So we have 1 family allowed to visit in the morning, 1 family allowed to visit in the afternoon. We do have proper social distancing. On the nice days, we've been able to sit outside and spread out on our front porch of the admissions office. On days that weather doesn't allow, we go up to our conference room. We're able to spread out in there. Face coverings are required at all times. We have temperature checks for all of our visitors. And we've also had enhanced cleaning in our admissions office as well as across campus. They've definitely done a good job of keeping things clean for us. Another option you have, generally this time of year, we would start offering our fall open houses, which were larger gatherings in person. Unfortunately, that wasn't going to be possible in person this year, but we are offering some virtual open house dates. Open house dates start with a welcome from our president, and then we have a welcome from our head of admissions. We have a similar PowerPoint presentation, what we worked through today. The thing that makes those days a little bit different, we have some current faculty members available to answer questions. We have some current students available to answer questions. So it's a little bit more of a actual in-person visit feel to it, where you're going to be able to talk with a lot of different people from campus. We actually just hosted our first virtual open house this past Saturday, October 17th, but we have another one coming up on Halloween, October 31st. The next one after that will be November 14th. And then our final virtual open house will be December 5th. You can sign up for a personal weekday visit or the virtual open house day on our college website there, that wvwc.edu. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to contact us as well, and we'll help to get you guys signed up. Wesleyan's very active on social media, so definitely feel free to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We like to always share information about different events that are taking place on campus, different donations we've received, different events we have, whether it be those open houses, whether it be campus visitors, whatever it may be. We always like sharing stories about current students, about former students, and just general information that's going on Wesleyan. So definitely feel free to follow us on social media. And lastly, if you guys have any questions at all, definitely feel free to contact us. Again, that wvwc.edu, our college website, that's going to be a great resource for you guys to go to learn some more information about Wesleyan. But if you can't find what you're looking for, definitely feel free to give us a call, email us. These are our general office number and office email, but you can actually look up your individual admissions counselor on our college website. But if you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to contact us. We definitely don't want any questions to go unasked or unanswered. So definitely, if you have any questions at all, if you're struggling with anything, if you're working on the application process, if you're working on submitting a FAFSA, if you want to get in touch with a coach or someone from the arts, someone from service, if you want to speak with a professor, if you want to visit campus, whatever it may be, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We're definitely happy to talk with you guys and answer any questions that you may have. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We're glad we had a chance to talk with you. I'll stop sharing my screen now and turn things back over to Alan.
Actually, Scott, we have a question here.
Okay, perfect.
We had a student ask, what is Wesleyan's average four-year graduation rate?
Average four-year graduation rate, generally we're around, I believe, 60% graduation rate. The reason it's a little bit lower is because whenever a student decides to transfer, doesn't finish with the program, anything like that, it actually counts against the graduation rate. Definitely the big thing for students to remember is that 91% that Amanda talked about, which is that post-graduation placement rate. So definitely our students have always been very successful as far as graduating and then finding a job either in their field or a placement into a graduate school program. Our professors have always been really good about answering any questions students have as far as whether they're looking to go into the workforce upon graduation, whether they're looking to go on to grad school upon graduation. But they've always been good at recommending grad schools, writing a letter of recommendation, whether it be for a grad school or whether it be for an actual job as well.
All right. Do we have any more questions before we turn it over to the facilitator? All right. It looks like we're good. So we'll go ahead and turn it back over to you, Alan.
All right. All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Alan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, give me just a second here. We've got one more thing I want to share with everyone. So, of course, thank you for joining us. And when you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback you can provide. And this was just one of many sessions, once again, being hosted. So be sure to sign up for additional sessions at WVACRAO.org. In about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as the other session recordings at WVACRAO.org. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great night and stay safe and healthy.